working on GMetrix, Excel Practice Exam 2. We're on the second project called Feed Store. Task 1 wants us to go to the homemade pet food worksheet. So we'll go ahead and click on that worksheet here. And what it wants us to do is put our cursor here in A9. And it's having us import the new flavors text file. What we want to do is go to the data tab here at the top. If you're quickly thinking, you're going to think insert, but it's not insert. You're going to be on data. Get and transform data group from text CSV file. You'll want to map to your GMetrix templates folder. We'll select new flavors. We'll go ahead and select import. If you're running Excel 2016, you're going to have a different screen than what I'm looking at here. This is because I have 365 installed. We can select our delimiter here. We want to make sure that's tab. It wants it to be tab, so we'll keep that. And what we're going to do is go ahead and on the load dropdown, select load to. In this section, where do you want to put the data? We want to select existing worksheet here. And notice it's referencing where we had our cursor before we began this process. We'll select OK. I'm going to go ahead and close out of the queries and connections. And I'm going to do some extra steps to this just because of how it was brought in. With my cursor here in this section, what it did was when it brought it in as a table, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and select Convert to Range. And then I'm going to delete this row 9 because it says to bring it in without headers. And so it just added the headers for me, and I don't want that. We'll go ahead and right-click and select Delete. And we won't worry about the formatting because a different step is going to change that. We'll go ahead and mark that we completed this task. I'll go ahead and bring in an old video clip to show you what it looks like in Excel 2016. That way you can see both ways. On the certification test, it will not look like the 365.
It tells us that this has no headers, so we want to make sure that's not selected. And it tells us that it's tab, so we'll click next. So we'll select that tab, and then we can click finish. But if you're not sure, click next, and that just brings us to this screen right here where we can format the data here. We'll click finish. And then here it's just asking us exactly where we want to select it, but A9 is correct. And notice it went ahead and plugged that data in. We'll click Mark Completed.
Task 2 wants us to go to the Feed Inventory worksheet, and we're going to remove a hyperlink. So we're going to go to that worksheet. It tells us that in C33, there's a hyperlink that we need to remove. We want to go to the Insert tab here at the top. And in the Links group, we want to click the Links dropdown to click Insert Link. And this time, what we want to do is just click Remove Link. And notice that hyperlink is now gone. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. Task 3 wants us to go ahead and reveal a worksheet that's hidden called Fencing. What I can do here is right-click on one of the worksheet tabs. And what we'll select is Unhide. What I'm having to do is to lower the instruction screen because for some reason the dialog box was hidden behind the instructions. I've noticed that happen on some of my student computers as well. On this Unhide dialog box, we want to select Fencing, and we'll click OK. It tells us that we need to make sure that this worksheet is located after the homemade pet food worksheet. That's where it was placed. We can go ahead and check that we've completed this task. Task 4 wants us to go to the homemade pet food worksheet tab. It tells us to select range A3 to E11, so we'll go ahead and select that range. And it tells us to go ahead and make this a table that has headers, and it doesn't matter the table style format that's applied. So what we can do is just click on the Insert tab, go to the Tables group, and select Table. It tells us to make sure that our table has headers. So we'll keep that checked, and we'll go ahead and select OK. We'll go ahead and check that we completed that task. Task 5 wants us to go ahead and resize a chart that's found on the Feed Inventory worksheet. So let's go ahead and go there. They want the chart to only cover H3 to O19. So we want to make sure it's in the correct starting place. What we'll do is we'll select the chart to get the size handles. And what we want to do is just click and drag until we have it covering to O19. And that looks good. We'll go ahead and mark complete.